Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 23rd of March. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. So this week we have Australian Vanadium, SevenWest Media, Medical Developments, HiFi and Gold Road. So if you have a request, please send it through. Make sure you're getting my free newsletter, but my stock tips come out every Tuesday in the Dynamic Investor Report, so ensure you have subscribed to that report. But if you do enjoy these videos, we'd love you to share them on social media or even leave us a review. Our main business is in portfolio management, so if you'd like to have a trading account with me, then please give me a call and we can go through it together. And all the advice here is general only. So we've got a daily chart here of AVL going back to last year, obviously massive run in March, but it's given it all back. Seems to have leveled out, so we've got sort of this rounding out here, and then we've got sort of an initial move up, sideways consolidation, another move up on volume, another decline. We could see that this decline basically sat on top of the January peak, so we could see it building up quite nicely. And then of course we had this sort of big move up yesterday, sort of gapped up, closed on its highs, big increase. If we just zoom in, we can see the big increase in volume. So, that's the next buy signal, in my opinion, and I think there's a high chance that we do continue to see it rally from here. Okay, SevenWest. I remember looking at this one around this period. We were noticing the sort of head and shoulders top, so it sort of obviously broke support, and that was the downside there. But since the June lows, it's bounced off, but it really hasn't been making much progress at all. So after this little peak in August, we could see it's been making the lower highs, which isn't ideal. At the moment, it looks like it's found this support level near 40 cents and has tried to bounce off it, but we could see the bounce is pretty feeble, so I don't have a lot of confidence in that move. Doesn't look very convincing. So I think there's a good chance that it does come back to 40 cents and breaks under it. So I think even if that does hold, to get bullish, you really need to see it go through the February high. So we need to see some sort of upside break, otherwise it looks like the risk is still to the downside. All right, MVP, so as we could see, just, big downtrend. How far back do we have to go? Anything positive? Well, there's a little bit of bullish divergence here, so it looks like if we have a look at the RSI, it bottomed out in February, even though the share price is headed lower, so that can often lead to a bounce, but given the massive downtrend, it might just be a short-term bounce. I think at best what you'll get is, if this is a low and it bounces, it'll probably need to build more of a base. Otherwise, I think if you do get a bit of a bounce and it doesn't base build, it might just end up back into the downtrend. So still very risky. All right, HiFi. So we could see that it's $42 seems to be a good support level. It is back on that, but we could see it's tested it a few times, and to me this looks like a head and shoulders. So we've got a peak, a higher peak, then it's sort of putting in a lower peak here. So in other words, if it does break under 42, you'd be looking at decent downside. It at least retests sort of $38. So I think this is looking vulnerable. And finally, Gold Road. So, like a lot of gold stocks, a bit of heat's come out the start of the year, but starting to get going again. We've got, as we could see here, the sort of rallied off the low, tested it, and as soon as it took out that high, that was the buy signal. And we could see that momentum has already been trending up since that point. So essentially that the crack up was the buy. It's come back to retest it yesterday, and basically as long as it holds on to that low, I think we should just see it continue to head higher. Okay, well that's all for this week. If you have a request, send it through and I'll try to include yours next Thursday.